Hi and welcome. I'm going to do an overview of the Equis Financial Business Opportunity. This is a brief webinar. I'm going to go through this very quickly because I know attention spans have changed over the years and people just don't last as long as they used to. So if I go through it too quickly, you have some questions at the end, feel free to reach out to either myself or the person that invited you into this, and I'm sure we can get the rest of your questions answered. But let's get into this. So Equis Financial, this is just what we're going to cover today, starting with just about us, our market, products, lead system, training, compensation, how it works, start to finish, all the juicy details, the nuts and bolts, awesome stuff. So I'm excited to jump in. This is a little bit about us. So first of all, we are a partnership of agents. We're formed in 2015. We've only been around a few years, but we partner with some of the best carriers in the business, and we have field agents that go out there, and we have fantastic coverage and fantastic options that we offer to our clients. Very, very competitive, and we use a lead system and the support that is second to none, and I'm going to get into that. So this is kind of just a snapshot of who we are. And here's the executive team. Don't those look like an amazing group of guys? I'm not going to go into them one at a time, but I will tell you, go ahead and Google search if you want. Check into their backgrounds. Barry Clarkson, President and CEO. Fantastic leadership. All these guys. Bill Martin teaches us on the training side, and Rob Jones on agency development. And these other guys are specialists at what they do in advanced market type stuff and marketing efforts. I'm just telling you, trust me, this leadership team is second to none. They're fantastic. So with them at the helm and this opportunity at play, this is a fantastic timing for you and fantastic opportunity for somebody who's willing to step up, who's willing to grab the bull by the horns, kind of sick of having a job, or maybe just tired of the same old, or maybe you just want some extra income. I don't know what your why is or what your purpose is, but if you've ever wanted just a good opportunity to sell a good product, to learn something, learn how to do something with no experience and no background. You don't have to have a sales background to do this. You can learn everything as long as you're willing. So what I like to tell people is you bring the heart, and we'll provide the mentorship and the training. We'll provide everything else. This is a snapshot of the market. My goodness, guys, life insurance, what a fantastic market to be in. Okay, $814 billion of reported revenue in 2015. All right, 15.3 trillion of unmet need. Now, do you think some of that? You think you could tap into some of that? 15.3 trillion. That's the unmet need. 40% of Americans have no life insurance, and those that do, 44% have only coverage through their employer. So low limits, no job, they don't understand. And part of what we do as agents is go out and educate and teach how you can't rely on just your work coverage alone, and we teach why. Okay, so 70% of households would have trouble handling expenses if the primary wage earner were to pass away. We solve this problem. We, as agents, we go into homes and we fix this with people, and people are nervous. They don't know what's going to happen if they get cancer, a disability, a stroke, a heart attack. There are products that we write every day as Equis field agents that solve this enormous problem that's just eating at the back of the minds of your neighbors and your friends and people that you know. 70% could not handle it. That's huge. More than 50% said that they would purchase insurance from the internet. So a lot of people want the face-to-face still. So we have options, all right? That's fantastic. So that's just a little bit of some of the numbers, and those are the things that we are that are riding this wave, that are boosting this up and making it so that agents all across the country are able to make a really, really great living going out and helping protect families every day. So here's some of our products. We do mortgage protection, we do term and life, disability, critical illness, final expense, and annuities. So it's a pretty wide array. If you don't know what all of those are, that's okay. You learn everything. Again, we teach. We have a training system second to none. We teach all this stuff. But this is our bread and butter. Okay, so the insurance companies we partnered with give us the tools to go in and literally write just about anything let me just put it this way. There are very few people, almost nobody can we go in and sit down with that we can't write something for, regardless of their health, regardless of weight, age. Well, there are some age restrictions, but almost everybody, you have to be pretty old to not qualify. But when I go into a home, I am 99.5% certain I can write a policy for somebody in that home if they want the coverage. So these are the tools. This is what gives me that confidence and gives me and all the other agents that go in there the ability to say literally, whoever you are, whatever your health circumstances you have going, we can write something. There's something for everyone. So there's no excuse or no reason to not have coverage. Fantastic companies. These are all A-rated, and they've been around, many of them, for 100 plus years. We only work with the best of the best. So rest assured, if you're an Equis agent, you have those tools and that confidence as you go out and you meet in people's homes to provide and offer the best. A lot of these are very, very competitive. Some of them offer what would be the most competitive rates that you could probably find. Okay, so the lead system, this is how this works. So Equis, they've got researchers that collect data, and they grab this from the public records. A lot of times people refinance, or they get buy a new home or something like that. Something goes on a public record. We gather that data, and we send out mailers in the mail. Okay. Out of 100 people, most of them will just toss it. And you're probably one of those. I know I have been in the past where something comes in, it's a whole bunch of junk mail, and you toss it. But 1.5% will actually fill it out. They will sit down at their table, they'll pull out a pen, they'll fill it out, and they will mail it back in. That self-stamped envelope comes back to us. Those leads are uploaded for distribution, and Equis agents use those leads to contact that person and set an appointment. So we are calling somebody that they took 3 or 4 minutes of their time and wrote out their name, their age, their birth date, their spouse's information, whether they're a smoker or not. The address is on there, the phone number is on there. This is a fully comprehensive lead. If you're in sales and you look at one of these leads, I can almost guarantee you've never seen such a comprehensive set of information on a lead before. They're fantastic. So you can call them, you know a lot about them. They've already filled all that out, which means they're looking. They are wanting you to call them. So as Equis agents, we simply call. We're not cold calling. We're not going door to door up and down the street. We are just calling people who have mailed in the leads, and we're setting appointments. We go and run those appointments, and a certain percentage of them will close. And I'll get into all that. But this is how the leads are generated. Okay, this is all across the country. This is nationwide. The characteristics of a lead. So very clear and concise. Here's a sample on the right. You'll see different formats for different leads, but it includes a full benefit description. It's a very thorough description, so people see that, they read it, they know exactly what they're signing up for. There's no question. The agent, there's contact hours, best time to reach them. All the details are there for you. So this is kind of what a lead looks like on the right, and that's what we get. So those get scanned into the system, and then as an Equis agent, we access those leads, download them, print them out, whatever, into our system and go run those appointments. That's how that works. All right, the training system. So you coming on board, if you've never had experience before with insurance or with sales, if you're like me, you haven't had experience with either one. When I came into this, I had 0 sales background. I had 0 insurance background. But what I saw was that Equis Financial provides everything. They just say, if you're willing to learn, we'll teach you. And again, bring the heart, and we'll provide the mentorship and the training and everything. And they totally have done that. So there's a concierge phone line program. There's a training center, the back office. You've got meetings, weekly meetings. There's a podcast. There's training conference calls. There is annual and semi-annual meetups in person for 3 days at conference. It's in Orlando this year. I'm not sure about next year, but we do so much for the agents that there is really, literally, no way you can fail unless you just choose to not follow the advice and the teaching and the training. So we're even taught, And we have direct access to our executive training team. Now, these are people that have been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. They know what they're doing. They've been around the block. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. And they are there, and they go around the country teaching and training, and then calls, weekly calls, live dial sessions, on and on and on. So you literally have no shortage of opportunity to be trained and be taught exactly what you need to do. Exactly. It's just a matter of, are you willing to do it? That's really the only question we're asking here. So training system, second to none. It's amazing. So this is how you get paid. All right, this is the fun part. So the way a commission works in insurance is it's calculated off of what's called an annual premium volume, so APV. So if I write an application for $85.16, that is per month, then the average, the commission on that, you know what, let me round this off and make these simpler numbers. Let's go, let's say I write a commission for $80 per month. So times 12, that's $960. Okay, that's the annualized premium volume, which means, which stands for APV is the acronym. So the commission percentage of that, as you start out at Equis, you get 70%. Now, if you're shopping around, that's a really good number. A lot of other places start you much lower, but agents at Equis start at 70%. So you take that 960 times by 0.7, and you get $672. Okay, that's the total commission. They advance from that 75% on most policies, so times 0.75 is $504. And some of the renewals, so that would be an example of a commission. Some of the policies come with renewals. So over the lifespan of the policy, every time your client pays and renews their policy, you get a piece of that. On average, there's an issue rate. We have an issue rate of 75%. Now, I'm going to talk about issue rate on and off throughout the rest of this presentation, so I want you to pay attention to what this means. Issue rate means something happens to the policy that it didn't get through. So, for example, it gets declined. It gets graded or changed, and your client denies it, or the client changes their mind. Sometimes they back out and they say, you know what, never mind, or they shopped around. For whatever number of reasons, the policy was not issued. It might have been issued for a month or two, or it might have not even gotten out of the gate. So the issue rate is what sticks, and this is what we're interested in. We want business that sticks. We want business that stays on the books. So the issue rate, the average, is 75%, and we're going to calculate all this in. But in addition to all of these other things, we have overrides. So as you grow through Equis and you attain certain levels, you're going to get bonused, you're going to get commissions, you're going to get overrides on a team that you can build, and I'll talk about that as well. So there's a lot of other wonderful benefits, financially and otherwise, that you can get as you grow through Equis. So there's a literally unlimited opportunity. You can grow as big as you want. Okay, so this is just an overview on how we get paid. Let's do some compensation examples. So I've got 4 here. We're going to go through these one at a time. Let's say you're a part-time agent. Doesn't that look like a nice part-time agent? I don't know what that guy's name is, but he looks like a wonderful part-time agent. 6 leads a week. So if we're going to go based off of 6 leads a week, remember those leads I was telling you about, of those, he's going to set an average of about 4 appointments, and he's probably going to write 2 applications. Now, those are industry averages. You might do much better, okay? And you might have weeks that are worse. But if you're starting out and you're just going through the motions and you're doing what we're saying and what we're teaching, those are going to be your averages. So you buy 6 leads a week, you run 2 applications, or you're going to write 2 applications for a total of averages, remember, 2,043.84 APV, annual premium volume. So of that, 75% issue rate means some people aren't going to stick, 25% peel off for whatever reason. We're leaving you with $1,532.88. 75% commission is $1,149, and they're going to advance 75% at $862. So minus your lead cost. So if you're buying 6 leads, you're going to spend about $250 on lead costs. So that's $616 per week. So we subtracted out all the risk, the potential business that can fall off. We've gone with industry average close ratios, and even subtracted out any of your lead costs, which really are marketing costs. Now you think about this for a second. I'm going to push pause and talk about the lead costs for a second, because in any business you start, you're going to have to spend money on marketing. In fact, that's probably the most important thing you're going to be spending money on a regular basis. There is no way around it. So when you come on Equis has shored up all of that risk and taken it off your shoulders by mailing these out. They take huge risk by sending those out and then posting them in hopes that Equis agents will then go on the database and purchase those leads, recouping the investment that Equis has put in. So the lead cost is you shortcutting your marketing dollars to just those people who are interested. Now you tell me where else you can go and get a business up and running for where you only pay for people who are interested in your service. You don't have to spend any dollars in marketing, throwing any money away on hopes of finding people. There's none of that, which is fantastic. So Equis has stepped out. They take that load off your shoulder and all that risk, and they send out all those leads, and they just post the ones that respond. So you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money throwing marketing dollars at the wall, see what sticks, and then only respond to what does, and losing a lot of money, because there's a lot of companies that lose money doing marketing. All right, so I just had to go off a little bit on the lead costs there. It's phenomenal. So if you're like a little nervous about paying some money on lead costs, well, go start your own business somewhere else and see how much marketing costs you. And we'll see you a couple of weeks after that. Anyways, so here we are, part-time agent, $616 a week. You multiply that out, and that's a $31,000 a year. Again, if you're making 40, 50 grand at your job, and you're doing this on the side, $30,000 is a pretty good part-time side hustle income. Okay, but you signed up for something bigger than this, or you're interested in something. You're like, Equis, I heard about this, and I think this is phenomenal. People are making tons of money. I've heard agents are making over $1 million a year. That's all true. So how is that possible at 30? Well, let's move on. We're going to look at this full-time agent. Doesn't she look like an awesome full-time agent? This full-time agent, as with most full-time agents, run 12 leads a week, or purchase 12 leads a week, and of those 12, they're going to probably book 9 or 10 appointments, and of those 9 or 10 appointments, they're going to close about 5 applications per week. So all we're doing is increasing the numbers just a little bit more. So we were at 6, we just doubled. So as you can see, everything else is probably going to follow suit. So you got 5,000 APV, 75% issue rate, so some fall off the books. That's perfectly normal. It's an industry average, 3,800. I've actually experienced a much higher percentage, so very, very few actually fall off. And the better you are as an agent at closing solid business, you can increase that issue rate to much, much higher. A lot of agents are issuing at 85 or 90% of an issue rate. So your commission now has gone up because you started at 70, and then we go up to as high as 110. So your commission's $3,500, 75% advance. You're getting $2,500 minus $564 is the lead cost for 12 leads at this level. So you're going to spend $564. Excuse me. You're going to invest $564 into your business for the marketing, getting those leads, running the appointments for a total of $2,022 per week times 50 weeks, and that's a 6-figure income. Okay, 50 weeks, 6-figure income, and that's taking a couple of weeks off. So you got to have some vacation time, right? So there you go. That is a full-timer, a typical scenario. If you want to run more appointments of that, and a lot of full-timers do, you can totally do that. And by the way, in Equis Financial, full-time does not mean 50, 60 hours a week like it means at your job. Most full-timers are running. They'll run 2 or 3 days a week, full days, and then they take Fridays are kind of more kickback, sales trainings, and some calls. Thursday, you can take a day off, take the weekend off. A lot of agents take the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. So you're not running full-time. I would say you're running hard. Run hard for 2 or 3 days a week, and then following through with your applications. It's probably not a full-time position in terms of number of hours spent. So you can run this how you want. You can turn full-time into literally full-time. There's some agents that do run 7 days a week, and they run 7 or 8 appointments every single day, and they bring hundreds of thousands of dollars, 500,000, 600,000, not just 100,000. So this is just one scenario, okay? But let's look at an agency. So maybe you like the sales thing, but you want to start leveraging. Remember I talked about overrides, right? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the inside of a $50,000 agency. Okay, so if you run 15 apps a week and your 5 apps, so that's or you're purchasing 15 apps a week, and it turns into 5. So just the scenario that I just showed you, all this right here, right? You've got your 5 that you're doing per week, but then you have 5 agents who are only running 2 or writing 2 applications each week. Okay, so you are submitting 5 because you're full time, and you find 5 other people that you're working with. You're training agents. You're growing a brokerage, much like a real estate industry where you have a broker and you have agents to work under. This is structured very similar. So you've got you bring on agents, and they're just writing 2 a week. You're 5, and you're at 100% commission rate, minus the issue rate, minus the advance like we did before, minus out the lead costs, $22.86. But if we include the other agents with the 2 apps that they're writing, it's an additional 14 that is coming. And if you include all of that, yours plus your override, because that additional 14 is your override, the difference between your commission and their commission. So that override increases your amount 50 times 50 weeks, and you're now making $186,550 per year as an agency owner. Now you're starting to think like a business owner. You're a leader. You're training. You're leading your team by example. You're out there in the field, and you're helping other agents do the same. All right, let's blow this up a little bit. $100,000 agency. Boom. Maybe this is what you're interested in. You're getting 30 apps a week. You're 5, like you've been doing. You're submitting 5 applications. Plus, you have 3 people doing 5 applications, and the 5 with 2. So you can break this out any which way you want, but these are just some examples of a team and looking at team volume. So your 5 applications, because you're now at 110 commission rate, are producing $5,100 for you, minus the issue rate, minus the advance. So you're making about $25.73 per week off your own pen. These are your numbers from you going out and doing this work. Now your agency, you've got 5 people doing, or 3 people doing the 5 applications per week like you were doing before. And at that level, at 75% issue rate, you've got a 20% override commission, and the advance, you're making a $17.24 per week like we showed you, plus 5 more with 2 applications, writing 2 applications per week. Again, taking out the issue rate, the overrides, commissions, the lead costs, another $2,000 per week. Add all that in, and now you're up to well over $300,000 per year. And it just keeps going from here. So you want a bigger team? You want a bigger paycheck? The two are directly related. You just grow your team, grow your overrides. You don't have to keep growing your own personal paid volume. You can, if you're excellent at getting out there and hustling and selling, you can certainly do that. But we encourage you to leverage your time and step up as a leader and get out there and train some agents, bring some on. You can do this nationwide. It does not have to be people in your backyard. Nationwide, you can work with people. We live in a virtual world, and you can grow your company all across the nation. Plug them into the same system, hook up on the phone, video chat. It happens everywhere. Agents everywhere, all teamed up across the nation. So that's that. Your next step. Let's suppose that you look at this and you say, "Wow, this looks amazing." It looks. I would say if you're anywhere between, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're anywhere in a 6 to a 7 on up, then what I would say is the next step is for you to get licensed. And so we have a specific process for bringing people on and onboarding. You submit your contracting, which is just contracting with all the carriers. Establish your lead order. This is if you are licensed already. So if you are already licensed, then we just got to get you contracted. We've got to get you your ICA agreement to Equis, and so that gives you a back office. You can start accessing leads after that. You go through the training course. You learn how to do in-home presentations and dials. Bill Martin, remember, is a master at that. So is Rob Jones. They do all these trainings. You subscribe to the podcast, start dialing, and just start running appointments, because that's where you're going to get commissioned. You can sit around all day and look at your business and make it look beautiful, but until you start picking up the phone and running appointments, you're not going to be making any money. So those are the things that bring in the dollars. Everything else is just support to your business. If you are not licensed, okay, we just have to add a couple of steps. It's real simple. So you're going to sign an agreement, and then we're going to get you hooked up with our partner licensing company. And there's a study course that you can get into, and we highly recommend it. Videos, flashcards, practice tests, audios, written, you can read, you can download things. There's all kinds of resources for you to learn how to become a licensed life insurance agent. It does not take very long. I would say on average 1 to 2 weeks you can get through it. Some people do it in just a matter of a few days. So you cannot do anything until you are licensed through your state. So then you're going to sign up, register to take the test through your state, go to a state testing facility and take that. Once you're licensed, then back to here, and you pick up where we left off there. So you're going to go to the online training, you're going to do your podcasts, and sign up for all the everything that we offer, all the trainings and support and everything. And then biggest thing is just start dialing, running appointments. You're going to mess up at first. You're not going to know everything at first. That's okay. The biggest thing is just start dialing, running appointments. Plug into your team. Plug into your leadership. Let them mentor you. Let them help you through the process. You will make it happen. I've seen it over and over and over, and I can tell you Equis doesn't care if you're older or younger, if you have if you wear glasses, if you're tall, if you're short, if you're heavy, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care if you have a background in life insurance. It doesn't care if you even know how to spell rheumatoid arthritis. Equis doesn't care. They only care about your heart. If you come into this and you look at this presentation that I just showed you, and you think to yourself, I can learn. I may not know all this stuff, but I can learn, and I'm willing to learn. Okay? If you're thinking that to yourself, we need to talk, because that's what it's going to take. And if you're willing to go through the discomfort of learning new things, of making calls, of getting rejected at times, but reaping the rewards of owning your own business without a ceiling, being in a vehicle that will take you as far as you want. You want to pay cash for a new car, a new home, take your wife or spouse on a nice vacation, whatever it is that's driving you. Maybe you want to leave a legacy to your kids, or maybe you're just trying to pay off some college debt, or maybe you just want a little bit of belief because, gosh, you can't catch a break at work because you're living paycheck to paycheck, and it would be sure nice just to make an extra $500 a month. Whatever your starting point is, let that drive you forward to do something a little uncomfortable, because uncomfortableness is what it's going to take for you to move forward in anything, not just Equis. That's what success is all about. You have to get through that. You have to face your fear, overcome. Don't let failure hold you back. Go ahead and move forward and mess up a little bit. It's okay. Your management team is here to pick you up, and will keep you moving. As long as you're committed to your own business, we'll be there every step of the way. So that's really what this is all about. That's the end of this presentation. I hope I've answered a few questions for you. It's been fantastic presenting with you. Please, if you have questions from here, get back to the person that invited you in on this and get your questions answered, and make a decision either way. And I'm just going to end really quick on some advice. If you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I'll try it, that's a big red flag for me. I wouldn't recommend anybody just test it out or give it a shot or give it a half-hearted effort or anything like that. What I would say is this: instead of doing that, do this. I'm going to give this everything I got for 3 months. If I don't see it working in 3 months, I'm out of here. That's fine. I will respect you all day long if you do that. Whatever you do in life, not even just Equis, give it your all. I mean, that's good advice no matter what. Give it everything you got. But with Equis especially, if you get into this and you just come in with I'm going to pick and choose. I like this, but I'm not going to really do that because I don't really agree with it, but I like this. So, I'm going to just kind of do a half-hearted effort. I'll make some calls every so often, maybe run an appointment here and there. In a few months, you're going to say this doesn't work. Then you're going to go and tell your friends, don't do anything with Equis. It doesn't work. Don't do that. I'll save you some time. Just go ahead and back out and don't come into this at all if you have that. If, on the other hand, you can say, you know what, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to commit hard, and I'm going to commit 100%, and I'm going to do everything they tell me for 3 months, or whatever your timeline is, whatever you can commit to. But I'd say 3 months. Give it 3 months. because you're going to fail a little bit at first, and there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, and that's okay. It's perfectly normal. So 3 months, if you hit this hard for 3 months, I can almost promise you won't be backing out, because it will kick in and it'll explode. And it'll give you exactly what you're wanting. Guys, life insurance is such a meaningful line of business. You're writing one of the most important documents that somebody owns. And they are opening up their hearts to trust you with all this information. I get hugs. I've sat in presentations where the wife tears up. They're so grateful. And I see this over and over. And they come and they always thank me for coming. It is so rewarding and so meaningful. It is nothing like I thought insurance would be. So I'll leave it at that. This is a fantastic opportunity, an amazing company, a team that is second to none, and a vehicle that'll get you exactly wherever your dream is. It'll get you exactly that if you're willing to plug in and follow the system. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.